Hello and welcome back to another Home Lab update, and this is part 2 of the Dell R740Xd one I published the other day. So in part 1 you can see the things didn't quite go to plan, a couple of issues. One was with the RAID card, the H740p RAID card, it's basically duff, and also the Riser 2 slot 6 that was in was also duff as well. So some good news. So I recorded and did the video on Sunday, it's a couple of days ago, it's now Wednesday, and I'm happy to report that both, well, they've got 3 new parts have arrived. The new Riser 2, PCIe Riser 2 for the server, and a new RAID card. And also, because the other issue we had was from another eBay seller, was the Boss S1 card had a faulty SSD on it, had a new SSD sent out, and that is working. So I just powered it on the system. So I've got it all set up, wired in, etc. So just want to jump in. So this is the iDRAC, and if you're not familiar with the Dell iDRAC system, it's basically like a remote management or IPMI system. They call it iDRAC, it's Dell's name for it, and it's basically a dedicated management, out-of-band management port on the Dell server, and it's brilliant. You could do anything, pretty much anything you can. If you're physically, there with a server, a keyboard, video, mouse on it. So you can do. So this is the sort of dashboard. You can see like a nice overview of what's happening on it, and you can do all sorts here. You can configure the system storage. You can even do BIOS settings from this web interface. So you can go in and configure the BIOS, for example, and then set it to apply it like right now or next reboot. So it'll give you the current value and the pending value. You can do all sorts of things, you can export all these settings as well, so you can make a server profile, so you want to make it the same on all your servers, you could totally do that. So it's it is really good. And one of the good things about it is, well, like I said, you've got this virtual console here. So this is basically the same as if you had a VGA monitor plugged into it, and this is what you'd see, and you've got full keyboard and mouse control of it as well. So we'll just go into the boot manager. Let's wait for it to respond. Usually responds, he says. Okay, let's just start that again. Okay, so it's decided to freeze. I'm starting Pixie, UIPv4. Okay, there we go, it's back now. Yeah, so I'll edit that bit out. Okay, so yeah, going into the boot manager, so you can see on the system setup, device settings, we can now see the RAID controller, the H740p is there, excellent. The 2 NIC ports, and the Boss S1, if we go into the Boss S1, you can see that there are now 2 SSDs showing up there, and what I've done is I've actually created a virtual disk. I've created a RAID, obviously RAID 1, because there's 2 disks, and I've created a virtual disk called Boss S1 Boot, so that's the one I'm going to install XCP-ng operating system on. So you can see that is all there, so that we're all happy with that. So we'll finish that. So like I said, I alluded to some other components I got in there. So like I said, I'll put some specs up on the screen again from the last video, but just to add to that, we've got the Dell Mellanox Connect X4, so basically a dual 25 gig network card. I'm only running it at 10 gigs, so I've already got 10 gig networking here, and you can totally do that as well, because SSP 28 is backwards compatible, usually it's FSP Plus at 10 gigs, so I'm running at 10 gig speed So I've got them both now wired up into my secondary Matrix switch, which was 2 videos before this, my Home Lab update. So I've got it plugged into there, and so the idea is this will be the trunk port giving 20 gig connectivity for the virtual machines or for XCP-ng. And I've also got as well in the server a Samsung 990 Evo Plus 4TB NVMe SSD, which is in a little Sambrent enclosure plugged into one of the PCIe port slots in there, and that is going to be to install it's basically the local storage for the VMs. So let's just finish out there and finish out there. Yes, we want to exit. Like I said, this finish out there as well. Yeah. Like I said, great thing about this is, like I said, you can do anything you can. Well, pretty much anything you can if you're physically at the server. But obviously, we're not at the server. We're remote back in my office here. And one of the things you can do is install an operating system remotely, which is absolutely brilliant. So you don't have to, get that USB, and go in the server room, put the USB in, and try to boot off it. So what we could do is virtual media on here, and we can connect to virtual media. And what I'm going to do is we're going to choose a file. So I've downloaded the XCP-ng ISO file. So we're going to map that. So we're going to map the device. So that is now connected to this. And what we'll probably have to do is might have to probably reboot the server. Just wait for the Pixie to do. Okay, yeah, because it's not going to do. Actually, what we can do, we can go into the boot manager again. Okay, one shoot UEFI boot menu. I could just force it to use the virtual optical drive. So that's what we'll do. But it's saying boot failed. So it doesn't like that ISO file for some reason. Okay. We'll just give it a reboot. Okay, let's see if it will boot from it now. So it's trying to do a Pixie boot again, because that's what it does first. It's time. It will be taking long now because I've actually got a network connected now. so it is trying to do a Pixie boot. Of course, that's totally a valid option. You can, if you've got a Pixie server running on your network, that is obviously something you can totally do. That's obviously something you could do even if you haven't got like a fancy iDRAC system like here. You can make basically basic computers now. Have Pixie as standard now to do a boot from Pixie. But obviously we've got the ISO here. We want to do it this way. You can actually pick the boot options from here as well. Oh, here we go, booting from virtual optical drive. There we go, it's come up now. So we want to install. It's thinking about it. So this will probably be the stage where it's copying the contents of the ISO file up to the server, which can take a little bit. I find this can be a little bit slow. Okay. There we go, it's booting into the send system for the XCP-ng installer. Okay, here we go. So we want UK, because that's where we are. Set time we need to install, upgrade XCP on the system, restore service backup. So, okay. We're going to accept the end user license agreement. So it's giving us some options for the boot drive. So we want the Dell Boss virtual disk. So we'll go OK on that. Which disk do you want to use for virtual machine storage? We want to use the SSD only, so the NVMe SSD only for that. sure I picked that. Yeah, no, okay. There we go. Yes, we want to do thin provisioning. I made a mistake of doing thick provisioning last time on set it up, so we'll do that. Please select the source you'd like to use for installation on local media. So this is where it can fall on its bottom sometimes. I'll do that. Okay, I'm just ask for the password. Okay, which network interface you'd like to use to connect to your management on your host? Well, we want to use both of them. Really, we want to make a trunk. I forgot how we do this now, so this is where it's interesting because it's very fussy with management, because if you set it now and then you want to create a trunk later, it can really not like it. I wish you would just give us an option to make a trunk now. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Spell. Now I'm gonna find next IP address I can use for this. So it's gonna be 152. Let me just double check that. Yes, 152. Yeah, we do actually need to use VLAN, and it's VLAN 500 for management. And the host name, so what do we call this? It's going to be host 03. DNS servers in, obviously the local DNS servers. And then what geographical area? Well, it's Europe. United Kingdom. Where's that gone? No. I'll see it at the top. Oh, city is one in. Okay. Well, city will be London's the closest. Probably have on there. How should local time be determined? Use default and TP servers. Okay. Let's get it installed. Yeah, I wish it would let you set up a trunk interface for for the management, because it is really fussy when you change the network for management on this. Yeah, let's see if it'll install. But it's a good sign it's detected both the NICs, because I've had issues sometimes where it won't detect the NIC. Namely when I've been using certain network interface cards, like the Intel ones, especially the 10 gig Intel ones, where if you're not using Intel SFP Plus modules or in the Intel Flash ones, then it basically will go, no, you can't use that, and it just doesn't show up, and then you have to do some tweaks in the background to basically say ignore that for them to show, and that can really mess things up. Some, you know, I don't know if I haven't had that this time with this one. That's good. So I think it's NVIDIA and Mellanox now, so, and luckily they're not fussed about what SOP module you use. So I think what I'm going to do is, because I've got a pool here, I've got two pools. I've got the pool that's NSM HQ pools, that's here in my HQ, and I've got one at DR. But I'm going to set this up as the same pool, because it is better for resiliency purposes, because basically for each pool you have a master. So you could, I've set up, you know, my HQ pool, I've got host 02, which is like a slave in it. But you can run into issues if your master dies, and you know you can get it. You can make the other one master. There is ways to do that, but it can be a bit of a pain. The idea is if I have two pools, then it's obviously more resilience because you've got two masters in effect as well. But you can still easily migrate VMs between it. It doesn't really, you know, matter. But as long as you've got networking set up, pretty much the same. Should be grand. Cool, that's so yeah, it's going for the installation nicely, and it's me just seeing it's actually automatically unmapped. It would have sent the eject command on the on a CD or virtual media in this case, which is good. Some things don't do that. You have to obviously manually make sure you unmap it or disconnect it before it reboots, so it doesn't reboot back into it. Okay, so that's installed. So it's saying to remove the media from boot, but I think it's already done that. Yeah, so it's already gone. You can just go disconnect virtual media as well. So we'll click OK to reboot, and hopefully it boots into it. Okay, moment of truth now. Oh, that is looking promising. It is booting off our boss card, and it's booting into XCP-ng. That is a very good sign. So this is the 8.3, which is now in long-term support version of XCP-ng. It's what I've got running on my other host as well. Yeah, so if you haven't heard, so XCP-ng is hypervisor based on Sen or Citrix back in the day. It's an alternative to likes of VMware, etc. And you can obviously there's paid for versions. You know, if you're running it in a production enterprise environment. And there's also, but it's also free open. Because it's open source in the day, so there's, you know, free versions you can run in your home lab, like I'm doing, which is really good. So yeah, because I was on VMware ESXi years ago, and I switched this a couple of years ago now, I think. I've been really impressed with the features it offers as well. So that's loaded up now. So we need to change the networking on here. This is the fun bit, not so configuration management. That so okay. I want to create a trunk. Okay, future Nathan here. Just we're recording the end of the video. So good news is we have got the new R740Xd server up and running. We've got XCP-ng installed. Like for the networking, so I was trying to fumble around trying to create the lab group at the install / console stage, but the way you do it, remember now, I'll look it up on the documentation again. So you have to temporarily just create your whatever VLAN your management or whatever you want management on temporarily on the console. So I just put it on 88.0 VLAN 500, and then what you have to do is in the pool, so this would be pool 2 and network. So it turned off obviously here. You basically connect it. You set up a network temporarily, connect it into say an orchestrator, or add your host and pools in. And once you're in here, this is where you create your trunk. So basically, I went to add a network and create the trunk. You can see the trunk is created there. As soon as you do that, it automatically puts the management there on bond 0500. So it is automatically basically put it on the right one now. Rebooted it a few times and it's stuck on that, which is good news. And you can see I've created the rest of my networks here. So that's my VLANs, obviously on that bond 0. And yeah, they are all there. So that's good. And what I've also done as well, if I just filter by pool 2, you can see I've now migrated my workloads over from pool 1, my original pool on host 1. I've migrated them all over to the new host, which is on its own pool. And yeah, they are up and running. The good news is when you do that, like I said, even though they're two separate pools, things like tags will still work. So you can see I've got things tagged prod, and that's to tag for the backup and stuff. The backup jobs basically have the user tags. So you can see here, this is my production one, and yeah, so it's all there. You just basically tag the pool into it, and then you'll see that it's backed up. So last it's backup went okay. So yeah, it's all good. So I think that's be the end of this video. So yeah, the good news is those faulty components have now, we've got the new ones in, and it's all up and running. It's been up and running for a few days now. I'll start recording a video early in the week, I think on Wednesday or so, and it's now Sunday. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. But like I said, if you want to learn more about sort of XCP-ng, Send Orchestrator, etc., I'd recommend checking out like Lawrence Systems. He's got loads of great videos on it. I learned a lot from him. But I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But yeah, that's it for this video. In the next one, I might have a look at some of the performance stuff. Got a couple of weird issues going on, so yeah, I might do some videos on that. But yeah, thank you for watching, and catch you in the next one.